Hey, hi guys, how's it hanging? How's it going? Awesome, that's great to hear. I'll be doing a deck profile for you guys today. Hopefully, I get to showcase some of my awesome quote-unquote deck building skills. Nah, just joking. I'll be doing a deck profile for you guys today, and it is of Overlord. It's one of my most favorite decks. It's not been as much fun as it's been at the moment, but it's more or less because I've not made too much changes, and the changes that I do need to make is going to be a lot of extensive testing and a lot of figuring out how I'm going to be tweaking the deck as much as possible, so that I can combat a lot of the current format things that are going to be changing and a lot of the things that are going to be to come. So let's get right into it. I'm not going to be explaining too much of all these skills and what they do. I'm going to go off with the inclination that a lot of the current Vanguarders are more or less more informed than they used to be. If there's anything that I want to, highlight, I'll say it. It's fine. So let's get right into it. So 4 copies of the Destiny. It is your main grade 3. You're going to be wanting to write this 9 times out of 10. It's very important. Your optional is either 4 copies of the Legend. Where's my 4? Oh, here you go. 4 copies of the Legend. It is optional since you usually look at a top 5 and you search for Flame Dragon, or you could discard a grade 3 to get a plus drive check and plus 15k power, which is actually pretty nifty sometimes, but usually you won't really find much use to it, and it actually is a vanilla by the time you do a Drachma play, which is actually not that good, but it facilitates a lot of plussing if you don't have the Destiny and you need to write a secondary grade 3. It does help a bit. It's not that bad. So I play 8 grade 3s. Nothing too fancy there. So on to my grade 2s that I play. The 10Ks, which is Glow Heater Dragon, which is 10k base, reveal 1, it becomes a 5k if you don't reveal 1, or if you don't have a grade 3 Vanguard with Overlord in the name. It is what it is. I mean, and it gets plus 2k for every damage your opponent has if you have original Overlord in your Vanguard name as grade 4. So we're only worth fit the Ace and the Purge that we currently have. So until we get Overlord support in the next year and a half, we'll probably get a new Overlord name again. So, let's see. 4 copies in the Hollow. And then 3 copies of Burning Horn Evolute. So last one, retire ones, and column elite. And it gets 2k, same thing like Glow Heater for every damage your opponent has. So then, on to my grade 1s, which is a bit wonky. I'll be changing it around, but I only played it until December like this, based on my own testings and situations that I had a lot. I played 4 Lava Float because I had a lot of scenarios where I didn't have enough grade 3s, or I needed to discard accordingly, but since I learned how to play the deck more properly, I guess, I noticed that the Lava Flows are a little bit, actually create inconsistencies in scenarios where you actually just need a Conroe, or you need a Doom Griffin, more than you would actually need a Stride Fodder, since you can almost always stride every turn. And the Conroe gives you a scenario where the Lava Flow is actually a stride enabler in itself, since the Conroe becomes anything you need, becomes a PG, becomes a stride enabler, becomes a G-Guard, since you can fetch you with a heal, which is actually pretty good. And then 4 copies of Protect Orb Dragon, the GPG, the Generation Perfect Guard in the Generation Booster Set 1. One of the original unflip PGs. It allows you to unflip a damage if you have a second copy of him in Drop Zone, which is actually really nifty. Con charging in this deck is really, really important. Let's see. And on to a next factor of con charging. It is 3 copies of Lizard General Conroe, the boy leveled up. It's revealing a grade 3 from hand and discarding it, or discarding a card and fetching an Overlord grade 3 is actually pretty handy. And then this skill, Dune Griffin, send up to 2 grade 3 overlords in your drop zone back to deck, and you can draw a card if you send back 2. And it gives you free striding by retiring himself from the field, which is pretty nifty. So that is the non-trigger lineup till now. And then for the trigger lineup, I play 5 draw triggers, of which is 1 Art Peak and 4 Gatling Claw. Gatling Claw at 4 instead of 3 Gatling and 2 Art Peak is usually... Art Peak is your Flame Dragon you can get off of the legend, that's why I play it. It is also facilitates a bit of your soul charging you may get with... you need to do with maybe Ziegenberg or with the Destiny, which is actually pretty nifty, or the Legend if you get in those scenarios, which is handy. Let's see, then we have 3 copies of Muzzle Flash Dragon. It's a generic 5k, 10k power, 5k power, 10k guarding vanilla crit trigger. And then we have the 4k 5 Chase Dragon, which isn't too... It's been underwhelming in a lot of scenarios since you don't have the situations where you can put it on play and get the ability off, which is unfortunate since you can... It is... I would recommend switching it out for something else, maybe like other Flame Dragon crit, maybe the Perdition crits or something, which is fine. Let's see, then we have Dragon Dancer Ta, which is actually really good. It gives you the soul charge you might need, and also gives you the concentration you might need by binding 2 copies of heal triggers in your drop zone, her included. So, 2 copies, which is pretty decent. And we play 4 of it. So I played over the Fighters Collection one. Since the Fighters Collection one forces you to Soul Blast, and there's a lot of times you just don't have enough. You don't have enough soul, baby. And then 1 Lizard Soldier Conroe, not General. This is before he became a man. You play 1 copy of it, and he basically becomes any of your grade 1s, any of them. So technically he becomes like a 2nd or 3rd copy of a lot of your grade 1s that you play. And he is probably like the best starter by far. Alright, so that's it for the main deck. And then on to the G-Zone. So I'm going to be starting with the G-Guards. So we're going to be starting with 1 copy of Defeat Flare. Retire your opponent's back row. When you have Vanguards that are being attacked. When Vanguard to Vanguard is attacking, same thing for this one. Vanguard to Vanguard attacking, Counter Blast 1 for every open spot in your opponent's rear guard circle. You get 10k power, which is really good. 2 copies of the Dragonic Griffin. I'm going to bump this up to 3. It's really good. It's one of the best cards you're going to need in a lot of the matchups currently. I've found out there's a lot of scenarios at the moment that I need a 3rd one, so I need to probably purchase a new one, because for the last 2 years or 3 years since the card's been out, I've only been playing 1. I mean 2. Wow. 1 copy of the generic G-Guard, which is your opponent has 4 units or less. You get plus 5k. Sometimes you just needed GB2 for this. When I played it in Blade Master, that's all I used it for, and I flipped with Advancing Guard with it. 1 GB8, you're not going to be really getting to get to this anymore. A lot of the games are too fast at the moment, too fast and furious, and they don't give you the opportunity to set up or to work with it or anything like that. So if I played maybe Advanced Guard, I'd probably still keep on playing this and the Drachma, but I think I'll probably just take this for the Drachma out, test how that works, and maybe we'll come back to this later. And then first stride option, this unit, I have strode in this thing a lot of scenarios when my opponent is behind on pressure, behind on value, and I just need to draw a card, and it's been really good. It's been really, really good for me. 3 Ziegenberg, I'm going to probably cut this down to 2. There's too much scenarios where your opponents probably are pacing you too much and they have too much rear guards in play, and I'd rather have this be a 2nd G-Guard, a 6th G-Guard or something like that, which is actually a lot more important. And then 3 VAs, I might also cut this down to 2, maybe replace 1 with a Sea Breeze or something like that. And 3 purges. I would not change this, maybe. I don't think I'll ever change this to anything other than 3. Yeah, I think I'll just keep this at 3. It is good. It is good mid and late game. Even early, like a first stride option. If you don't have the counter blast and your opponent is denying you the counter blast, it's also a pretty good alternative first stride. It's not bad at all. So that is the main deck. Any things that I would want to change to it? Of course, I've mentioned them in between. I'd probably add a Seabreeze, a Vangaurd, and maybe if I were to change my grade 3s, which I am considering, I would consider taking out the Legends and play maybe 2-on-2 copies, or 3-and-1, or 3-and-2, and cut a grade 1. So I'd still run the 11 grade 2s, but 1 grade 1 less. Since your convert becomes any grade 1s you'll need. And you only need to write the grade 1, and the rest of your grade 1s are just utility. So it's up to what you wanna do. Depends on region, depends on scenarios, depends on game state. It's all particular to that scenario. And that's what I like a lot about Vangaurd at the moment. It has a lot of creativity and a lot of things that you can use and do and change. And that's what I like about Kagero at the moment too. It gives you a ceiling to work with. Alternative triggers that you can consider playing is Lizard Soldier Viera. It is a copy of Mick the Ghosty and the other stand trigger from Gear Chronicle, the Tabby. That allows him to shuffle himself back to the deck if you send something to the bottom deck of your opponent, or send something back to the deck of your opponent. He sort of does the same thing, but you need to retire one of your opponent's units. That's kind of that's it. It could be during your turn or your opponent's turn. If you retire something with an L Griffin or if any other stuff that you're using, like a Belog or anything like that, you can do that. Grade 2. This auto stand trigger. Inspired a Yellow Dragon. It's actually not that bad. The cool thing is Blaze is an optional ability. You can choose when you want to blaze, so you can swing with this as a booster first. So say for example you're swinging with like in I don't know, a grade 1 or whatever, it's 11 or something, and whenever you do declare blaze thereafter, you can choose to send the cards back. So you can send him back. So that's really good. And then other POG alternative, if you don't have the budget for the deck, you can play this. Flame Trooper Doomjet. He has a skill of, if there's a second copy of him in the drop zone, GP1, continuous. So it's, if you still have him in the drop zone, he becomes 15k plus shield, which is pretty nifty. And then alternative starter options, if you don't have a Conroe, are these two, which is Red Pulse Dragokid or Dragon Knight Sade. Sade is better if you're playing with the Cross, and Sade if you're playing pure the End as your second grade 3, Dragokid is better. But I personally I wouldn't consider running these, since if you're playing both, Conroe is still better, since you can still... Conroe is still better if you still play both. So. And the other units I'd probably consider in the deck is maybe Belogs, maybe 1 or 2 copies, but you don't have the space and your opponent's not giving you the much freedom to choose or do anything at the moment. The game is too fast paced. It doesn't give you too much freedom to work with it. It is very high octane base, and your deck is very top end heavy, and that's the pro. And the con is that it has a very weak early game. If your opponents get started, it's hard on the first and second stride, since a lot of first and second strides are a lot more explosive than they used to be. So that was my deck profile. That is the deck list that I was using until like the end of December, the start of the year. And after the Zoo Nation booster set dropped, I'm going to be changing maybe a lot of things out of it, since the Star Nation is going to be, the Stargate is going to be coming around. So a lot of the deck is going to be changing a lot, and I like that about Vanguard. There's change. The deck, I would not put the deck at a tier 1 status anymore, maybe, with a lot of this matchup that it used to be auto win against, like stuff like Neo Nectar, Great Nature, and stuff like that. It used to be auto wins, and now those decks are actually some of the best in the format. All the 3 decks of the Nation Booster, and all the Nation Boosters to come are gonna be so strong. And I love that. I like that about Vanguard. But that's enough of my tangent for now. My off the wall banter. So be awesome, guys. Stay awesome. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching, and have a great 2018. Bye.